E3 is over, and this is my very first E3 I ever went to. Obviously, Gabe Newell on one side, Jan Bernier on the other, and we were playing Valve's Half-Life. It was me and Eric. This is about Old Man Murray days, and we just kept going back in line and playing and playing and playing again. The only other thing I remember from this was getting to meet Michael Powell. I made him come out of where he was hiding from, creator of iWar and some other games that I really liked. And I think he was shocked that he had a fan that wanted to come see him so excitedly, but yet I did. So with that, I'll miss E3, but also, E3 always was a weird one for me. So, I mean, some good memories of the first time we played showed Half-Life, and people didn't really know about it. We'd have other developers come by, and Peter Molyneux came by with his 3 people from his team. They sat down and started playing. He instantly got pounced by a hunter. Nobody helped him. They all walked off. He died, and he just got up and left. That was kind of funny. I don't know. Or the time in between the Left 4 Dead one and the first one was in LA, again, still with the websites Yu-Gi-Oh, if you remember them. They paid for us to come out there, and I remember none of that event, and I blame Tom Chick because the one night we stayed up all night drinking, and I didn't get home till like the next afternoon. Younger days, I could do that. But then I stopped drinking at E3 because I was working, and for the Left 4 Dead's, like, I would go to dinners and then come back. E3 Left 4 Dead 2, I didn't even go to dinners because, so we have that original trailer, the announcement trailer, right? And we're playing it at this small event with Microsoft, and it's really good. It's really good. People are excited. Like, they're cheering, and I really like that speech. I really like, I wrote that, I was thinking of like all my Southern friends, of like a little bit of the family with the religion, kind of all tied together. And I thought it did a really nice job of bringing that all together. So I was excited about that. And then we start doing the press, and it's going well. People are excited about it. We're talking all about what's new. And then the boycott, the outrage, the anger comes. And it just doesn't stop. And my entire day is just getting beat up. And so one of my things always is when I do kind of press stuff is I always kind of pair with somebody else on games, be it Michael Booth, who could do press well. But like in this case, it was Tom Leonard, later Ito on CSGO, is you bring them and you have them do a press thing. Because the minute like a press guy makes you explain your game to them, oh my God, it puts you on the spot and you really have to try to distill down what your game is. And yeah, and that Tom had enough of the boycott stuff and he bailed. And so I just had multiple days of just getting beat up in the face for that. That was also the time we didn't have the right build at first. We didn't bring speakers. We had to go down to Staples and go fill up a shopping cart with speakers and then, take it down to the Staples Center. There you go. CSGO, we showed there as well. And again, that was a lighter one. I just remember my friend Ulf, who was over at 10 Chambers, GTFO fame and Payday fame. We went out to Nexon Valve party, and I was flying out the next day. And again, I don't drink a lot at these events. I do drink a lot, just not at these events. Just started. I started pounding waters because I was thirsty, and we had bottle service, and he thought I was drinking vodka, and I think they all tried to stay up with me. They failed. That was also one of those really sleazy times of I go to leave the event and there's a line of women to get into the event because Nexon or somebody had hired women. The event, whatever the event people had hired women to come in to hang out with the nerds, right? And E3 has always kind of had that flavor to it. And so I would go back for the VR stuff and a lot of walking around, kind of bouncing around to different things. I never really liked it in the way that I like GDC. So GDC, I think, under Megan's rule had turned into this thing where it tried to be super inclusive and friendly and positive. And if GDC closes down, I will cry. When E3 closes down, I'm kind of like, because E3 was just always kind of sleazy that way. They were always like, what can we get away with? Where GDC was very much more like, hey, how can we help devs? How can we get into the industry? And now she's over at DICE and kind of bringing that into, which is in Vegas, which I've decided I'm never going to go to Vegas again in my life. So I'll never go to DICE again. But I hate Vegas. But there should try to be more positive of like, if you're later in your career and you've shipped a game or something, how do you advance and like, how do you help there? So like all of those events have different feels to them. PAX is very much community focused. Like, so E3 was just the one that really it showed its roots, right? And its roots were like sleazy, right? Because you were like, "Hey, the buyer from Sears is here." I remember that guy. I'm like, "Hey, man, what plaid is he wearing with a tie?" And he was, and like things like the Promise Lot, if you remember that, right? Where they did their little thing across the way. Level Lord cooking me burgers and daring me to eat them. Someone known from the industry drunkenly asking me if I wanted to go see strippers. No, I don't want to see you sexually excited. And anyway, it's a different time, right? But like, there was a lot of that kind of stuff, and that's not me. I missed some of it. Kensha Hall with the craziness, weird stuff. Like, there's something to be missed about that. And I miss that there's not a in-person, man, do we need in-person events? I don't know. There's not an event in the summer now that covers this. And I love Jeff Keighley, but I don't think his Summerfest really covers this in the same way. It's kind of a different kind of beast. I thought his best Summerfest when it fed off of this and people got interviewed there as part of it. So yeah, I mean, I'll be a little sad. I think it was really misrun. I've had a lot of run-ins with the ESRB, who runs that, calling them out on some of their behavior, especially their political behavior that they did in behalf of the game industry. Yes, me being a loudmouth with things. But equally, there's also a lot of good people at the ESRB trying to do good things, and I think that's who's there now. So a little sad. So yeah, I don't know. But also, it did a lot of that, like bringing Hollywood into the game industry, and I hate that, and I hate that celebrity stuff, right? So yeah, I'll miss E3, but it outlived its usefulness for what it was, and people had stopped putting stuff inside, and EA had their whole weird thing on the outside and all of that. And for VR, like VRLA had kind of done that a little bit more bespoke. So yeah, I guess every publisher has their event now. I don't know. Yeah, I'll miss it, but that's what happens. Bye, E3.